Jake Paul proposes a deal to Dana White that would see him enter a one-fight contract into the UFC. His opponent, none other than the Notorious Conor McGregor. Check it out. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to MMA Mondays on the Real Fake Talk Show. Jake Paul and Dana White seem to be locked into a boomer versus zoomer battle till the death, but man, am I enjoying it. Jake Paul tweeting at Dana yet again. Dana, since you like me now, how about a one-fight UFC deal to fight Conor? If I win, you agree to my UFC fighter pay and healthcare proposal. If I lose, I donate my entire purse to all UFC fighters who make less than $50K a fight and never mention the UFC again. Deal? Now, obviously, this is so loaded, and this goes back to the age-old dispute that these guys have been having publicly about fighter pay. Most leagues, notoriously in the professional leagues, Jake Paul argues, pay close to 50% of the revenue sharing within their athletes, whereas the UFC pays about 10 to 15% when all's said and done. That leads us on to Jake's proposal, so let's break it down a little bit here. If Jake wins, Dana has to agree to his proposal. So Jake is just saying that there's a minimum 50K per fight. He just has a couple of things that is just health benefits to fighters, long-term proposal thing like that. But he says if Conor wins, he'll donate his purse and never mention the UFC, his full purse, and never mention the UFC again. So he kind of, it seems like he's baiting Dana into saying like, hey, you wanted me in the, you say I'm only a boxer, I'll put me in the cage with Conor, which is kind of tempting because everyone in the world is going to say, oh, he's going to die. And then, so it kind of puts pressure on Dana White. And then it's like, if he loses, just pay your fighters more. It's a very smart play by Jake Paul. I can't really, it's a win-win-win for him. And Dana White, he loves his money, so he could be tempted by the actual offer itself. This is bound to be one of the biggest gates we've ever seen. Definitely one of the most cringe lead-ups to any event you'll ever even have considered in your life. I know I'm excited for it. But let's break it down a little bit more. The UFC fighter pay in 2021, 19% of the fighters, which equated to about 116 of the fighters listed, made less than $25,000, the American household average, which is scary in its own mind, but they made less than that in 2021. 36% of fighters, 220, made 50K or less in 2021. So kind of what Jake Paul was saying, but he said 50K per fight he'd donate to. So that's 220 fighters made less than $50,000 last year in 2021. And it just goes and begs you, whose side are you on there? I'd like to hear people in the comments. Like, should Dana White pay more? Should Jake Paul shut his mouth and mind his own business? Is he just doing this for clout and attention like some fighters think? Or does he actually, are we living in the craziest timeline where Jake Paul has the best interests of fighters and people in mind? Shout out to all you conspiracy theorists with the multiverse theory. I'm 1,000% in this timeline. Getting to the actual fight, though, he was Jake Paul was responding to Conor McGregor's boxing video that he posted on Instagram, saying, "This is embarrassing. Your chin wide open with no head movement for the problem child right hand of God." So he's saying, I would KO Conor in boxing or MMA. Right hand of God. And he finally got a response out of Conor. He's been beaking Conor for a while. Conor has been pretty steadfast of not acknowledging him. And he got his response out of Conor. So right after saying no head movement and I'd knock you out, check out what Conor had to say.
Jackass.
Right? The notorious one, always good for a laugh. But once again, you bite on a troll and you're gonna get trolled. Jake Paul had his response and he put a little bit of effort into it. Let's check this out.
There we go.
Jackass. 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 Jackass.
Like I said, it's going to be the most cringe lead up to any fight you'd ever seen. But I really do want to know, what do you guys think? Is this logistically possible? Conor's 5'9", fights at 155, 170 his career. Jake Paul walks over 200 pounds, is over 6 feet tall. What would that look like in the MMA cage? Does he have a chance? Does Conor have a chance? Is any of this going to happen, or is it all just clout for the internet because Dana's not going to budge on it? It's a privately traded company. It's not the same as some of the major leagues. So I'm torn on it personally. I don't want to put an opinion on it, but I do want to hear what each and every one of you think. Put your comment down in the comment box. And if you like what you see, like and subscribe. And if you don't like and subscribe, I'm being held hostage against my will. I do not want to be here. Please, somebody send help. See you next week.